The most important person in the whole wide world is you, and you hardly even know you. The most important person in the whole wide world is you. Come on, we'll show you. Let's find out more about the things you feel and do, 'cause you're the most important person in the world to you.
In the last video on this playlist, I mentioned Luisa Piccarretta's peculiar notion that men could become gods. I'd like to dig into that notion a little bit more on this video. In the last video, I mentioned that Luisa wrote, Jesus said, "My will is so great that whoever does it can call himself a god of the earth. And just as my will forms the beatitude of heaven, these gods who do my will form the beatitude of the earth and those who are near them. There is no good that exists on earth which is not attributed to these gods of my will." To my knowledge, there's only been one other Catholic writer who ever even made the claim that men could become gods, and that was Meister Eckhart in the 1300s. In a papal bull, Pope John the 22nd condemned Eckhart's proposition that we are completely reformed into God and changed into Him, in a similar manner as the Blessed Sacrament. The bread is changed into the body of Christ, so I am changed into Him, that He Himself produces me as His own being. The same as He, not something similar to Him. It is true by the living God that there is no distinction. Pope John condemned this statement along with a list of other Eckhart propositions. He wrote, "We expressly condemn and reject the first 15 cited propositions of Eckhart as being heretical. It seems bizarre that there are Catholics that don't instinctively and immediately reject Luisa's proposition that men could become gods, because it should seem obviously heretical even if the person isn't aware of Pope John the 22nd's bull. It's difficult for me to understand why the Novus Ordo Church is even tolerating this extreme nonsense. But let's break down Eckhart's condemned proposition even further. Let's go line by line and compare it to what Luisa wrote and see whether she essentially matches him. The first part of Eckhart's proposition says, we are completely reformed into God and changed into Him. In her diary, Luisa also says that those who live in the divine will be reformed. By means of the purification of the chosen part, the most sacred part, the people will be reformed. The next part of Eckhart's proposition says that this transformation is done in a similar manner as in the Blessed Sacrament. The bread is changed into the body of Christ. And Luisa also wrote, Jesus said, "To the one who does my will I say, you are my life, my blood, my bones." The true and real sacramental transformation takes place. Eckhart wrote, "So I am changed into Him, that He Himself produces me as His own being." Luisa wrote, Jesus said, "Is it not to make you an image of myself that I make you suffer?" Eckhart concludes, "The same as He, not something similar to Him. It is true by the living God that there is no distinction." Luisa wrote that Jesus said, "My will absorbs everything and makes the soul become all of God, who wants to make her another son. One who is the Son wants to make everyone become son." So here again, this is near gibberish from Luisa, but its meaning is clear enough. If someone wants to quibble and say that Luisa isn't writing exactly what Eckhart said word for word, they're clearly missing the forest through the trees. The point is, Luisa's proposition that men can become gods has already been condemned by the Church as heresy. In case there is any doubt, let's look at one more quote of Luisa just for good measure. She said that Jesus said, "One who lives in my will must be exposed to the rays of the burning and eternal sun in order to live of light, see nothing but light and touch nothing but light." This leads to the deification of the soul. Again, this is borderline gibberish, but it is clear that Luisa is saying that the human soul can be deified, and not as a lesser God, but all of God. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be back again within a week with another one. But in the meantime, please check out my Facebook page and my Twitter page. Every day I post additional content that you won't find on this YouTube channel. And also, please pray for the church.
The most important person in the whole wide world is you, and you hardly even know you. The most important person in the whole wide world is you. Come on, we'll show you. Let's find out more about the things you feel and do, 'cause you're the most important person in the world to you.